Ouais. Non, non, le son c'est bon, on a fait. Ok, alors est-ce que là je crois que c'est bon, ça enregistre.
Avec la
Hein?
campagne derrière. C'est
Voilà,
bien
très
ça.
bien. Ok.
D'accord.
So,
Et les vaches, les vaches. Pas
hello.
des vaches pour
Hello,
nous.
Walter. Thank you very much for answering questions today. And we'll start with a little bit of an introduction, maybe. Maybe you can
Oui.
say who you are, where you were born, what you've been doing, a little bit
Voilà.
about your life in 3 sentences.
In my life, no? No, really?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Well, I was born in Hanover, brought up in Berlin
Uh,
till the end of the war. I was in the war for nearly 2 years
uh,
and taken prisoner in Italy. Luckily enough, I wasn't too bad
uh-huh.
compared to the Eastern Front. And after the war, I finished my lycée of Techon and then studied in Göttingen, in Cologne, and Bonn, and Paris.
And where did you study? What did you study?
I studied first English literature,
Uh,
then history, international law
okay.
in Bonn, Cologne, then 1 year in Paris at the Institut d'études politiques,
Okay.
medical science. Then I went 1 year back to Germany and prepared my doctorate, which I passed in 1957.
Is it a doctorate in political science?
No, I did history and international law.
Okay. The doctorate was in
The
history and
doctorate,
international
yeah,
law.
yeah.
Okay.
So I passed my doctorate in 57 at the University of Göttingen in Lower Saxony. And then moved to Paris for good.
Okay.
About that was in 53. And since then I stayed around the Paris region. First at the in town, then in suburbs, St. Cloud, Malaisie, and now since about 36 years in Chivalry, which you see in the background.
Yeah.
But nice, which is your companion.
And so
Also, I was working as the chief of the director of the Franco-German Study Commission at the French Institute of Foreign Affairs.
and what kind of missions were you?
Where I was heading the Franco-German relations group.
So what did that entail? Did you have any influence in terms of
Influence,
in terms of foreign policies between the two
you know
countries,
how it
or?
is. I was a researcher,
Uh-huh.
and well, no, we organized meetings and we published documents on Franco-German relations, European relations, international defense, so rather pressing subjects. So I was staying there till my retirement in 1991.
1991.
1991, and since I'm staying there. Where I worked a bit more for 5 years, taking part in meetings and work and so on. Quite interesting till the age of 70. And since then I've been here.
So I can't remember. Did you say in what year you were born?
I really was born in 26.
1926.
I'm
So,
excited.
what I want to do is I want to talk about various things that are all related to the era in Germany between the time you were born and actually until the end of the war, and maybe a little bit after the war as well. So I'm going to just say one thing though is because you've been studying this topic, so there'll be probably a temptation to go into an analytical point of view. But what the students usually find very interesting is to know what life was like, what was people's experience. So if you don't mind, I'd like to do it in two ways. First one, just talk about your impressions or what you remember from, like, through your eyes of a 6-year-old, of a 10-year-old, and 15-year-old, and maybe afterwards just talk about a little bit more about the analytical aspects. So it's going to be a little bit like that. So you were born in 1926 in Hanover, which is in the north of
Yeah,
Germany.
in the lower
And
section.
when did you move to Berlin?
Well, my parents moved to Berlin in 32, yeah.
32. Okay.
My father was transferred to his factory at his new siege in Berlin. He was
What
working
were
in a chemical factory.
which factory?
A chemical. No,
A chemical factory.
chemical.
IG Farm, EJ
No, no,
Farben.
no, he did the hand, this was from the Eagle up by Eagle Farm. But it was a medium sized,
Okay.
near
Okay.
Hanover.
And how would you classify the social status of your family? Was it middle class? Was it upper
Well,
middle
middle
class?
class, yes,
Middle class.
education.
Okay. All right. And so, what are your earliest memories?
My
If you
earliest
can remember.
memories are Hanover, near Hanover, we were working in a suburb where the factory was. I have some memories, but not much. My real memories started in Berlin,
Uh-huh.
where we moved, as I said, in 32.
Uh-huh.
We went to school.
Yeah.
Right, that was quite interesting. It was still the Weimar Republic.
Yeah.
So I vividly remember in Berlin there were street demonstrations, the Nazis, the communists fighting, and so on. And
That was at the time
that
of the
was,
elections.
yeah, just before 33,
Yeah.
because in January 33 the Nazis took over.
Yeah.
And I still remember.
Can you
very much.
describe some of the scenes that you saw, or what
Well,
that
it
you
was very
remember?
funny because it always happened on Sunday. We would go out for lunch, and I really remember that some crashes were. Well, it wasn't very funny. Normally, Berlin was quiet in the week, but the political group and the militias, they made fun, or they made trouble, rather, it's trouble, on the weekends, obviously.
Why, obviously,
Well, you know,
they were working during the week.
nobody was working because after all, they had no holiday in the week, so they couldn't demonstrate. Obviously not. Against
Okay.
the Nazis and the communists and the socialists were not obviously Saturday, Sunday, did not recover.
So
How agitated.
there was a lot of unemployment at the time.
Oh
By
yes,
32,
well,
about
I
6
was
million
too
people
young to
were.
realize. At least my father had a good job study. But at the time, in 32, there were about 6 million unemployed.
Could you see that? Could
No,
you?
no.
Too small,
I
huh?
was just too young. You know.
Yeah.
At the time, I was 6 years old. So we went to school. No, you didn't realize. You didn't see that. You know, I said the only remembrance I have of the street demonstration. In the Weimar Republic, I couldn't last long because, as I said in Germany, 30th of January in 33, the Nazis took over. That is, Hitler was nominated Chancellor.
Yeah. So do you remember anything about that time?
Well, I remember the Nazis coming up everywhere. The SR, which was the revolution, they made demonstrations opposite our home because in 34 we moved to a new flat, not a big 3.5 rooms, which was a lot at the time, opposite the Tempelhofer Feld.
The
Yeah,
which one?
Tempelhof. Tempelhof is well known everywhere as the airport. I mean, the Nazis built it up just before the war, and so they were just facing in buildings and beyond the runways. They cleared enormous field. So, and in 33, 34, the Nazis used this vast space of ground to have their demonstrations there. I don't know.
So you could see that from where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were?
we could see that really, it was standing up in front of the front. So I remember this, the Nazi, the SR,
Do you remember seeing those? I mean, as a little boy of 6 or 7 years
Well,
old, what did you think?
at the time, not much, because politics, you know, at that age,
Right.
it interested me. I thought it was rather strange. All these people gathering, there were thousands and thousands of them. During the I don't know, 1st of May, manifestations or some festivities, the Nazis were sponsoring.
The Nazis were?
They found always something to celebrate at the Nazi meetings and the like. But at that age, you know, you really don't remember. But political that time was.
Right.
We found out later because then my parents who were first were convicted and convinced, convicted afterwards, convinced Nazis in the area.
They were.
Well, yes, they were.
So did they vote? They voted for
Yeah,
Hitler?
they voted. Everybody else had to.
Huh?
Like everybody else.
Uh-huh.
Voting stopped still in 34 at least, even before in 36. The Nazis abolished, completely abolished parliament. So there were votes, no elections. But anyway, but everybody was in favor of the new regime, which produced
What
work.
what did your parents? Did you remember hearing your parents speak about what
Well,
was
yes,
happening?
but first my father was enthusiastic, number two, but this the time, especially from 38 on, that the Nazis occupied Austria, and obviously preparing for war. So my parents took their distances.
Okay. And in the discussions about the around 33, 34, 35, what were the reasons they would or what would they talk about? Why did they think that Hitler was a solution? Because that's what it was.
Like many, half of the Germans insurgency. Half of the Germans voted for the Nazis.
I know, but that's the analytical part. I want to know, like, from an experience standpoint, like, what is being discussed in the household?
In the household, well, they didn't discuss politics very
No.
much. Usual things in the household, how to bring up the children, how to spend your weekends. No, politics wasn't really a subject.
But why do what's okay? What do you think? Why do you think they thought that Hitler was the
Well, it was
solution?
quite obvious the situation of the Weimar Republic, Germany at the time, was very bad. I said 6 million unemployed, not much work. So the Nazis promised what they said, liberty and bread. And they provided the liberty that they didn't, they should. So people were quite happy because once in power, Hitler and his gang started a big program of public works in the autobahns, and lots of things. And indeed, within years, unemployment disappeared. Well, for reasons that we didn't know at the time, but now we know that it was just to prepare for war. They pushed the war industries to union. All modern arms industry, they pushed enormously.
Right.
And so therefore the Nazis abolished the restrictions of the Versailles Treaty, limiting the German army, so there was really a remilitarization. But people were quite happy because they had work, and they didn't care about foreign policy and foreign policy. For us, no one else to have a job.
So when Hitler came to power, obviously several policies were put in place. And one was that all the children had to go to be enrolled in the Hitler Union.
No, not all. I mean, that is not true. The Nazis regulated everything. Well, first they abolished all the other Jews and homosexuals.
Yeah, but let's come back to just in terms of again. I just want to see it from the eyes of a 6 or 8 or 10 years old. Did you have to go to? Or
Well,
did you
we
go
didn't
to the
have
Hitler?
to because this was voluntary.
Okay, so you volunteered. Did you go to
Well,
the Hitler Union?
my father was still a Nazi at the time, like my uncle,
Yeah.
mother of my father, everything was there. Schütze. He was a big shot in the youth department
Okay.
because he was a friend of one of the leading positions.
Of who?
So, one of the leaders of the youth Hitler Union.
Yeah. Who? Can you?
My uncle.
Yeah.
My uncle was one of the big shots in the Hitler Youth, and well, okay, and we were 10 at the time, 6 years, he joined the youth force.
So how old were you when you joined?
10 years.
10 years
10
old?
years, not before.
Yeah.
He joined what they call the youth force, young people.
So you and your brother, right?
Yeah, always. Always together.
So what would you do with during the?
Yeah, it was quite funny. It was an adventure. I don't know what they did later. We stayed in the airport till we were 14. And we had meetings at the weekend.
Okay.
We went on excursions. You know, we played Indians and others. All quite interesting.
So it was mostly games, and was there anything like around discipline or the type
Well,
of?
not much at the time, you know. At the time when we were 10 or 12 or up to 14, so it's not much of it. But it isn't true that you had to be in it. You know. The only point, and that was important, if you weren't in the Hitler Youth, you couldn't study.
If you were not, you could not study. Yeah, you're right.
That was obvious big impediment. But I recall that under the communist Germany after the war, so-called GDR, with the same rule.
That unless
They
you're
they copied a lot of things the Nazis did, including the minister, the Freie Deutsche Jugend, the Free German Youth. They had bullshits in their governments, but apart from that, it's what the same. So they had the same rule that you could not study if you learn that. But the Nazis was this, so obviously, if you wanted to study, which we obviously wanted, but
right. So you had it's like a you had étape obligatoire.
The time says in mind and the world we said we don't study under that regime anyway. So we didn't care.
When you were going to those meetings or those camps, did you go to camps?
Yeah, we had camps too. That was quite interesting.
What was interesting about it?
No, it was quite okay.
Like in what did
it
you?
was adventure.
Yeah, in what way? What as a boy, as a little boy, what did you like about it?
No. It was games, you know. Take you on the sea, very interesting.
So did you have to? Did they have like slogans that? Do you remember of any slogans that?
No, we proved the Nazis had so many ones to use. They prepared, not obviously, but indirectly they were preparing everybody to be soldiers.
How?
Some rules and discipline and marching, shouting, singing,
What are some of the songs? Do you remember any of
Oh,
the?
no, I don't. No.
What about any of the slogans that you remember?
Slogans, no.
Like did you?
You don't want to know the Nazis were red slogans.
Can you remember some of them or?
Not for the young folk, not for the Hitler Youth. Well, that's long ago, right? I don't like it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
some slogans like
oh yeah, go ahead.
former trade unions in their own group, they called it Front of Work. And they had a program for people going holiday and work, they called it Kraftig Freude.
Yeah, okay, right.
You know, all these things that the place was full of slogans, which I like.
Like what?
Well, yes, but you were young and you don't remember it.
Yeah.
It was like this, you know.
You remember people greeting each other with the
Well,
Hitler
everybody
sign?
was doing that at school too.
In school?
Yeah, the class started, the teacher came in, Heil Hitler.
And everybody has to.
Yeah, that was, Heil Hitler.
So you went to
All over
school
the place.
in 39. How old were you?
Yeah, in 9, you know. Well, my parents, in the meantime, they were completely anti-Nazi against the war preparations. You know, since Hitler annexed Austria, then annexed to Belgium, we were occupied Bohemia and Moravia. It was good. And then when they started to invade Poland, that was only end. Well, in a way, our family, we hated the war because we thought that this would be away with the Nazis. And luckily enough, it took 5 years. We didn't realize. We saw that the British and the French armies were much better fighting than we did in fact. No, in the spring of 1940, when the Nazis, the German armies overran France, that was terrible, you know. Yeah,
So,
but at the time, my parents and we too were strictly against the war, against Hitler, against all that kind of
when did the shift happen in 38, you said, when Germany annexed Austria, right? The
Oh, yes,
Austrians
we
happened.
did. The Nazis clearly prepared for war.
Yeah. So, but before that, your father was part of the SA, right?
Now, he was fighting for us, but he didn't go anymore since 35.
What was
Because
that
he was in
before or
trouble.
after the night of the long night?
No, no, that was after this. No, no, no. At the time, the night of the long night, as it was called, wasn't very well known in Germany. Otherwise, the Nazis did it in trade secret. They killed their former allies like Röhm, the head of the SA, but the people didn't realize.
Nobody knew.
No, I mean, it was a dictatorship. This Goebbels was the head of propaganda, implementing, steering everything.
But your father must have known, right?
But you know by friends, and somehow some people disappeared when they were accused of treason or what do I know. We didn't know the details.
Okay.
We saw this was,
Because
the
Hitler
Nazis
even
and some were fighting it out. But the turning point for my parents came later.
because Hitler even said Rome was preparing for overthrowing.
Yeah, but this was all nonsense.
Yeah, but he mentioned
Yeah,
this.
they structure, these people, they kings like this without any power, without any higher anything. Just getting popularity. They accused them of treason, that was nonsense. The real reason was that the Rome English, comrades in the SR, they didn't like Hitler, who was building up the army. They saw a competition in the army. But the SR wanted to be the regular ammunition, armed militia. And Hitler decided against it. So it was the real, so Rome wasn't having a serious
Right.
competition. No, it wasn't. It was just a fight amongst Nazis. It was,
Okay, I'm
but
gonna
at the
start a
time,
new
we
one.
didn't realize it.
Right.
Nobody did it.
Ah, je vois.
T'as fait un essai la première fois?
Non.
C'est ça que t'as enregistré?
Bah ouais.